Do you ever feel like you have a neurotic inner roommate? You know, that little voice in your head that just keeps spouting stuff off. Maybe it's about other people, about yourself, about the past, about the future, but never actually present and often doesn't actually give a lot of great advice. You are not alone. So, my name is Dawn, and I'm with Practical Spiritualism, and I would love to talk to you today about what I refer to as our neurotic inner roommate. So I first came to this idea back probably about 5, 6 years ago when I was listening to a book by Michael Singer called The Surrender Experiment. Nope, wasn't a surrender experiment. It was his other book, The Untethered Soul. And he talks about like you're watching TV show and all of a sudden this voice just starts chattering inside your head. Can't believe she's wearing that. Oh, that reminds me of what this person wore. And he recommends, imagine if you took that voice out and put it beside you. And how long would it take for you to want to get away from that person? It's the same person that often drives with me and yells at people while they're driving, or it's the one that criticizes me. And so, what I loved was this idea of taking it outside of myself and placing it in another seat. And it works so beautifully that I do it pretty much every day. If you ever see me driving down the street and you see me talking to somebody, but there's nobody in my passenger seat, I promise you, I am talking to my neurotic inner roommate. I highly recommend giving them a name if it helps you. But really, it's our psyche. It is all of our beliefs, our fears, our worries, and our concerns. And most of the time, the things they chatter on about have absolutely no foundation. Sure, maybe one day somebody said you didn't look good in those pants. But does that mean every pair of jeans is going to be a problem? Sure, one time somebody broke up with you or cheated on you. But does that mean it'll happen every time? So the same person that picked the last jerk you hung out with, is that who you want picking the next one? So if you think about it, here's this psyche, this inner roommate that is basing every decision on the past. And not only are they basing your decisions on the past, but they're basing it on your perception of the past. So the information you had at that time, how you're feeling, what was going on in the world, and it took a picture of that and said not good or good. And then it uses that information to try and categorize the next thing. And all of this seems well and good. The concept is it's trying to protect us. Lovely. So we don't want to be rude or cruel to it, but we do need to put some things in check. Because one of the issues here is it's never in present time. And a little secret, your soul, your spirit is a product only of present time. It cannot go in the past or in the future. It can only be right here, right now, which means every time your psyche or that roommate wanders into the past, we are creating a separation between our psyche and ourself. And every time we start future forecasting and worrying and getting anxious about things, we are creating separation between our psyche and ourself. And that sensation that you experience in your body of panic, of anxiousness, which if it goes on too long can feel depressed, like you're all alone, it's because of the separation being created between your psyche and yourself. So the key is to try and bring ourselves more and more and more into present time. Be right here in this moment. Some people would call that our adult chair. We're not stuck in our child, in the past, what happened. We're not getting stuck in old emotions. We're not stuck in our adolescent, which is when we start getting into the future. What if this happens? What if that happens? So we're not stuck there. But in the adult chair, what we're talking about is being 100% present. What are the facts? What's happening in this moment? What's not happening in this moment? Can you be here? And every single time we come back into this moment, we get a chance to experience peace. an opportunity to experience ourself, which is pure perfection. It's pure potential, any possibility. And in that moment, we shift from depression and anxiousness to absolute wonder. I wonder what will happen. We can wonder, dream, be present, and keep doing the steps we need to do. So, how do we deal with that little neurotic inner roommate? My favorite is to put her outside myself and give her a timeout. Sometimes she needs it. She has all sorts of feelings and experiences, especially when I'm driving. It's not surprising considering I've had multiple car accidents that put me out for several years with concussions. So, of course, she wants to protect me from other drivers on the road, people not paying attention, going too fast, cutting me off. Those things are going to set her off. I'm aware of this. However, I've done enough work to know that the chances of it happening are very, very slim. And so I'll take her outside myself and say to her, we need to calm down. That's inappropriate behavior, and we don't speak to people like that. That's not appropriate language. We have lots of conversations with her, as opposed to when I used to keep her inside of myself and I would rage and yell and maybe finger somebody while I was driving, be panicking, all upset. You almost didn't happen. There's just this moment. So once I started placing her outside of myself, it kind of became a bit addictive because then all of a sudden, when the fears started coming up, oh, but what if this happens? What if I fail? What if we fall? What if they hurt us? I could actually sit and have a conversation and get curious. Okay, what if it does? Then what will we do? And having the conversation with her, all of a sudden I could start seeing all of my fears, all of my worries, and instead of judging her, I could have absolute compassion. And with compassion and curiosity, I could see that she's just my lost inner child. A little girl that wants to make sure somebody loves her, that she's safe, she's secure, she belongs, and she's loved. The same things we all desire, the same things that we all fear losing. Once we understand that about ourselves, about the psyche, it gets easier to gently hold her hand and guide her. Yeah, it's going to be scary, and that's okay because we can do hard things. We can lean into this discomfort and get this done. And when we're done, we're going to celebrate ourselves because we did something hard. So now I love my neurotic inner roommate. She's a little bit cray cray, and sometimes she has to have a timeout. It's inappropriate behavior. But at the same time, I can still love her because I understand that all she wants is to feel safe, secure, to be loved, and to belong. And that's something I can always have compassion with. So I encourage you to look at this and play with this tool of putting your psyche, this neurotic inner roommate, outside yourself and talk to them. What conversations will you have? What fears will you find out are hidden beneath the surface? What beliefs do you have that do not serve you and are harming you right now? And the moment you become aware of them, they begin to lose their power. Shame only has power when it's hidden and kept inside. And the same goes for a lot of things. So, what would happen if we started to explore them and started letting them go? Then we see, I have this belief because this experience happened. Well, maybe I didn't finish my healing. And so then we can jump into that and go, okay, well, let's take a look at that. Let's look at that whole experience from a different perspective. Am I ready to forgive that person? Stop drinking these toxins? Am I ready to forgive myself? Because it always comes down to that. We were in the position, so we are somewhat accountable. So, am I ready to forgive myself for that so I can stop doing this? Am I ready to release these stories that have created these whole patterns that are creating chaos in my life? And so we begin the journey. We find the problem by discussing it with ourselves. the little self versus the higher self. And then we use in present time staying with our higher self to be able to go, okay, what is this belief? How can I release this? What's the story linked with it? What's the emotion? Let's move through and let these go. Let's forgive and heal ourselves. I don't need an apology from anybody. And the moment that we let go of that requirement, it's like our child starts to heal. So then we can move through these releasings and then we can see the patterns. Oh, there's a pattern. Perfect. Do I need to release another belief or do I need to make a different choice? Because now that I'm conscious, I no longer have to make the same choice I did yesterday. What choices will I make? If we're going to go future forecasting, the healthy way to do it would be, who do I want to be? Who do I want to be in 5 years from now? What are my big goals, my big dreams? Who will she be that achieves those? And then we start making the same choices, feeling the same feelings, having the same thoughts that they would make. And that's how we start to shift our life. And we begin actively writing our own story again. That's when we actually have free will. Most of us live in an illusion of free will. We think we're making our own choices, and we are not. We're making choices based on the past and our fears of the future, but it's not present. And the moment we get present, we begin the journey of sovereignty. We begin the journey of true independence through freedom. And it starts when we do this practice, whether it's your roommate or any of the other practices that we can do to help ourselves heal. But every one of those practices is a way of actively doing the job of self-love. Your job is to love yourself. You are worthy of that love. And the moment you start loving yourself, you stop needing to seek it from outside of yourself. You already have it. And you can love yourself before you like yourself. That can come later when you're proud of yourself for those choices that you've made and the changes that you're doing. But you can actively participate in self-love today. I do encourage you to try this, example of the neurotic inner roommate. I personally love it. I find it super helpful. And I love talking about it. I love sharing that bit of cray cray with people because you know what? We're all a little off. We're all a little nuts. And so once we let go of this need of perfection, this illusion, then we can start laughing. And when we start laughing at ourselves kindly, but we start laughing at ourselves, all of the power just starts seeping out. You're like, oh, it's one more tie that does not bind me. So I encourage you to try this, to do these practices, to play with unwinding yourself, creating your own freedom. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this. If there is somebody you know that you believe this will help, please share it. And if you wish, go ahead and subscribe and like this. I always love comments. Email me, follow me on the socials under Practical Spiritualism, Dawn Elgin, as well as on our website, practicalspiritualismco.com, where we write weekly blogs. Have a phenomenal day. Brightest of blessings.